Now they call him the man with 9 lives, a soldier who combined faith with the enemies of faith. In a kill or be killed situation, how did Colonel Bello-Fadile sustain his faith and emotions as he faced almost certain death at the hands of one of Nigeria's most brutal dictators? Well, he's written a new book chronicling the horrors of military rule in Nigeria, especially if you were identified as a coup plotter. For Colonel Fadile, it meant a fall from the lofty heights of intellectual influence to almost certain execution. In 1995, he was accused of being a principal actor in a phantom coup against General Sani Abacha simply because of his personal zeal for Nigeria to return to democracy, a mission which was energizing other like-minded military officers. He was arrested, tried, and sentenced to death, eventually escaping the firing squad by the narrowest margin. On another occasion, he was chained and interrogated upside down in a dungeon and hammered with blows. All this as Nigeria stormed through the political turbulence brought about by the frequent occurrence of military interventions. But through it all, he managed to emerge alive and even succeeded in achieving a doctorate degree in law. Well, Colonel Fadile, as we mentioned, has written a book titled 9 Lives, the Bello-Fadile Memoirs, and he joins me now in the studio to talk about his dramatic experiences which have been captured in that book. Thank you very much indeed.
My pleasure, Charles.
And thank you for actually being here.
Yeah, a lot of people don't believe I'm right here with you.
Yeah, because the last time you weren't here, and we had egg on our face for a minute.
Yeah, there was a mix-up, and if I'm not sure, I don't go.
Yeah, okay. Well, hopefully that mix-up has been cleared because you are here.
That's right.
I mean, how did you end up as both a lawyer and a military officer, briefly?
Well, the military officer, military is my first love.
So it came first?
Came first.
Right.
And then my sister's husband said, what qualification do you have now apart from your teacher's grade 2 certificate? I said, oh, in NDA, we do certificate in education moderated by University of Ibadan, and you offer 3 courses, advanced level courses. I did English, history, and geography. So then you can get admission to read law in ABU. I said, well, I don't mind, but my first love is the military. So we were doing sports. I was about to do my hop, step, and jump for my company, Dale Company. Then they said, I have a visitor from Zaria. My mind went to my sister. I hope that nothing has happened. And behold, here is engineer George Olorano with the admission form to fill on the field, the track field. I filled it, gave it to him, and forgot about it. I was commissioned June 22, 1974, posted to 3rd Division under General Ganjuan. From there, I was posted to 13th Brigade, commanded by Colonel Batsa. From the 13th Brigade, I was posted to 30 Battalion, 103 Battalion in Ecom by the border. Then again, suddenly, in the middle of, towards the end of September, October, a visitor knocked at my door. And here is admission form from the same engineer, Olorano, all the way from Zaria to Ecom that I've been admitted. What am I waiting for? What do I do next? I told my battalion commander, sir, I have this. He said, go and meet your Oga now, because they call Vasa my Oga. So I went to Ogoja, say, sir, this, yeah, because when I was a cadet, he was the quartermaster for NDA, and I did a lot of literary work, wrote poems and everything. So he said he didn't have any problem recommending me to go and meet T.Y. Danjuma in Port Harcourt. There in Port Harcourt, I had a friend when I first came in, Captain Coker. So, okay, let's go and meet a guy. I went there, and then Danjuma didn't hesitate, writing a letter, giving me a warrant to go and meet the Chief of Army Staff, who was then Ejo. There again, nobody said no to T.Y. Danjuma, I believe. And And then he said, oh, he approved. And then who signed my letter? Major Tunde Ogbeha, whom I later realized that is from my state. Here I go.
So that's how your career took off.
That's how it took off.
That's very interesting. And the army provided that opportunity for you.
Exactly. Paid for everything.
But what I find extraordinary is that that same army almost cost you your life.
Yeah, well...
And not you in the battlefield,
yeah.
but a politicized army, which is a negation of what the army actually is supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what I don't want to. I think that's just my destiny. That's the path I have to take. Otherwise, I wouldn't have survived. If it was the army that was targeting me, I don't think I would survive.
But I can't even begin to imagine what it must be like to be condemned to death and not knowing if this minute or the next would be your last breath. I mean, take us through what happened to you in that context.
I was laughing, for real. As a matter of fact, before the sentence, General Aziza sent to us that we should be serious. They told Guadebe to tell us, I said, serious for what? We know what you are going to, your judgment is going to be. I said so. We know the judgment is something from Abuja you are going to read, not the judgment of the court, because there is no evidence before you to come to that conclusion. He was telling us we should be insulting him, calling him or something. I was laughing. Accused number one. I answered, guilty, 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 condemned to death by firing squad. May the Lord have mercy on your soul. I laughed. He said, why are you laughing? You are not serious for what? Because that is not the judgment of this court. That is what you are told to say.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter whether it's the judgment of the court or whether he was told to say it. Weren't you afraid of
I wasn't.
dying?
A lot of people didn't believe it. Why are you like this? I wasn't. I wasn't moved.
But all the other people who were condemned along with you, I mean, did they see the kind of mirth that you were seeing, or were they horrified about what was happening?
They didn't know what I knew then.
Right.
I think that's the best way to put it. They didn't know what I know.
And what did you know?
Because Abacha said he was not going to kill me, but he will punish me.
Right.
I know that.
So you didn't know, you felt you were not going to die. You
I
trusted
knew I was
him
not
enough.
going to die.
Right.
Not feeling. I knew I was not going to die. Because I didn't do anything wrong to deserve death.
Yeah, but did you feel like some of the other people who were condemned
They
to
were
death
all crying.
might possibly die?
They were, no, if I don't die, how would they die? Because they said, Bello said, Bello said, Bello said. That is the issue. Right from the beginning, right from the investigation period, I knew I was not going to die.
But I read that at one point you were chained and interrogated upside down.
That's correct.
Tell us what happened there.
Well, that was the first time they took us out to Ikeja, police barrack. That's why they do it. You must say, I said, look, I'm not planning coup. I am planning an interim government by law, Decree 63. That was what I was putting together, not coup. I have been a defender of coup plotter, treason, prosecuting, and judge advocate for treason. So I know what the law is, and I know the boundary. I told them, say, look, if you charge me for sedition, I will plead guilty. Leave these other people. I was the only one doing the talking. See, soldiers must go back to the barrack. And the conversation I had with General Sani Abacha under different circumstances. So when I was arrested and said I knew what I sent message to him. What is my point? What have I done? All I've done for this government to stabilize the government. You see, yes, the report came to him that I was coordinating those who want to overthrow his government. What is my story? And I told the person, just, I'm sorry, unfortunately, Caribbean White is dead. He went and told him. Say, look, I have a conversation with you that you have too many soldiers in your government. First of all, Decree 63 says, if under any circumstance, the head of state resign, the senior-most minister will take over. He didn't say change anything. The section didn't say remove everybody. But that's what you did. And then the world didn't like that. It's then said, what do we do? I said, well, I can go and find out whether the military wants to stay with you or not. And the majority of the people I talked to said, no, let's go back to the barrack. We haven't. General Babangida said, okay, enough.
So basically, you were an advocate of democracy.
Correct.
But of course, you can understand why he would be threatened by it, because he's the one in charge of, he's the military ruler.
He said, Bello, what do we do?
And by you supporting democracy means he should be removed.
He knows my style. He said, Bello, then what do we do to get recognition? I said, remove the military in your government. I didn't say remove yourself. I didn't say that. I said, remove the military in your government. The feeling in the military that we should go back to the barrack. That's why we could name it Back to Barrack campaign. It was a campaign I was doing. Then one of the members of the tribunal said, why are you talking like that? So how are you going to do that? You didn't allow me to finish. You stopped me halfway. So that is it.
So that was, if you like, the second of your 9 lives. I mean, we've seen the first one, now we've seen the second. The third one, if I might put it that way, was that you were living in a house on Macpherson Avenue in Lagos with other military officers, and all those who lived in that house were involved in coups and ended up being shot, except yourself.
Okay, now this is how it happened. If you are coming from Falomo on Bedilon, and you reach the junction of Macpherson, if you turn right, the first house on the right is number 9A. It's now being housed by Grenada Mission or something like that. Now, the officers that lived there before me, we didn't live there together at the same time. The first person that lived there was Buka.
Right.
The second person was Major Yoshi.
When you say Buka, you mean Dimka?
Dimka.
Yeah, Buka Suka Dimka.
That's
right, okay.
He was the first person to live in there. The second
and of course, Buka was shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
The second person was Yoshi. He was shot. The second and third person were involved at the same time, which was Bitian. I was the fourth person. I lived there the last 3 months of my law school. I stayed there to my mates come there, we have discussion and everything. And then I got involved. And then I wasn't killed. That's why I say it was genes. it's not superstition.
Yeah, well, it's a fascinating life you've had. Very interesting.
Right.
And to add to that interestingness, you had a lot of problems with Muhammadu Buhari, didn't you? I mean, he didn't like you. In fact, he hated your guts, didn't he?
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. If a captain and a brigadier general are arguing, you either leave the army or I leave the army. Then you can come to that conclusion. Just because I said you can't treat army officers, even though they have been found guilty, like as if they are in a German Gestapo. He didn't like the word Gestapo. I said, well, how can you put an officer who has been found guilty in a guard room instead of the officers' mess that they were meant to be, and then you refuse to send the record of proceeding for us in Army headquarters to process, and agreed. So the guys in the guard room petitioned to General Bushishi. Why are we being put in guard room? We're an officer. Our sentences have not been confirmed. So, and then you separate. Because their own the money they stole was bigger, I guess. And I wrote a letter, please. The petition came to my desk to treat as a member of the Director of Personal Services. And I wrote, unfortunately for me, the Adjutant General, General Shelley, was not on seat. My immediate boss, Colonel Ode, Director of Personal Service, was not on seat. The next senior S21, Major Dinka, said, look, Bello, this is your area. You go and sign it. I'm not going to get involved. And of course, I signed the letter and dispatched it and proceeded to Kano on my way to Lebanon. Then from nowhere, a signal came that I'm needed in Army headquarters. I came to Army headquarters. The first person I went to is the last person I was with, Major Dimka. I said, Bello, please, I have told them that I was not aware of this letter you sent to Ibadan. So please, save me. So what is this? Yeah, the GOC is mad. that if I don't leave the army, he will leave the army for me, and he's coming to meet the chief of army staff. I said, okay, fine. If that's what you say, fine. I signed it. Even though I gave it to you, you say it's not your responsibility, it's my responsibility to sign. And I signed it. I won't deny what I signed. I said, okay, fine. What do I do next? In fact, I have my twin brother, who was the military assistant to General Wushishi. I said this. He said, oh, this is the man is coming. He has an appointment to see the chief of army staff. I said, okay, what do we do? Well, I said, I can withdraw the letter, do this. So I conferred with him. So, yeah, okay. Then I went to meet the director of special duties and plan, who happens to be Brigadier General Babangida. He said, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. So I went upstairs, I wrote a letter, withdrawing the letter, say I apologize for using the word Gestapo. Yeah, dispatched the letter, of course, dispatched it. I only delivered the one for the chief of army staff, which the MA stamped and put in the file.
Right.
Then the GOC came. I was calling. I said, yes, I did write that letter, but I regretted using the word Gestapo because, I mean.
Right. Well, he wasn't, I mean, he never forgave you, basically.
Well, you need to hear more about that if you want to.
Well, it's just that we're almost out of time, so
okay,
I don't want to take up to it. But I mean, even during his, I mean, I imagine that given that, during his 8 years as president, you must have hidden away in a corner, not for him not to see you.
Yes, because the moment he won the election, myself and the NSA went to greet him in this governor's guest house in Aso Drive, and he escorted us out. And the first question he asked Tambu is, who is driving? Do you have abolition? Kana de Alwala? I said, I'm the one driving. He said, Bello driving. He said, Kana de Alwala? Then we laughed. He said, Sambo, you remember Bello wrote the letter? The letter of 1981. This general remember in 2015.
Like, that must have made you a bit uncomfortable.
Well, as soon as we came out, I told the NSA, this is the problem. We have a problem in your hand. He said, oh, no, we're in a democracy. Of course, you know what happened to him. 4 years in an office for doing nothing. That's how I left 9 years ago.
So having been through these experiences, some of them pretty horrendous, some of them, you know, very interesting, what are your reflections and thoughts on military rule? Because, I mean, the army was divided then on whether people should be in, you know, politicized or not, the army. And, you know, I wonder if it's still divided like that today.
Honestly speaking, if you want unity, if you talk about unity, the only institution I will vouch for is the military. Divided these days either because of personal preference of who is in charge. It wasn't like that in those days. It wasn't like that. We don't care where you come from. I have friends across the country. If you were there at the event of Monday, we have Muslim, we have Christian, South, North, Igbo, everybody.
Yeah, we had the camera. Cameras.
Yes. So that is what it used to be.
Well, I have to say that it's been brilliant talking with you. I wish we had more time because you really are a fascinating character. And it was Ndukor Beibuna who called me and said, you should talk to that guy, you'll find him very interesting.
Thank you very much, sir.
And so I think he's been, what he said has been borne out by your presence here. The book is titled 9 Lives, the Bello-Fadile Memoirs. It's written by Colonel Bello-Fadile, and he's been my guest on the program. Thank you very much indeed.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Bye-bye, and thank you for watching.